Hello, True Stories viewers. Today we're diving into one of the darkest periods of human history, the Black Death. This devastating plague swept through Europe during the Middle Ages, leaving death and despair in its wake. We'll uncover the mysterious origins of the plague, the catastrophic effects it had on medieval society, and the lasting impacts that still echo today. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel. Now let's explore the grim tale of the Black Death. The arrival of the plague. The Black Death, also known as the bubonic plague, arrived in Europe in 1347. Its origins are believed to lie in the vast plains of Central Asia, where it was carried by fleas living on black rats. These rats traveled with merchant ships along the Silk Road, eventually bringing the deadly disease to the bustling trade ports of the Mediterranean. The first recorded outbreak occurred in the port city of Messina, Sicily, in October 1347, when 12 Genoese trading ships docked with their crews either dead or dying from the disease. From Sicily, the plague spread rapidly throughout Europe. As the disease traveled, it left a trail of unimaginable devastation. The plague had three forms: bubonic, septicemic, and pneumonic, each more deadly than the last. The most common, bubonic plague, caused painful swollen lymph nodes, or buboes, which gave the disease its name. The septicemic form infected the bloodstream, causing blackened skin due to internal bleeding. The pneumonic form attacked the lungs, spreading easily through airborne droplets when infected individuals coughed or sneezed. The spread of fear and panic. As the Black Death spread, it brought with it widespread fear and panic. The plague was swift and brutal, often killing its victims within a few days. Symptoms began with fever, chills, headache, and swelling of the lymph nodes. Infected individuals suffered excruciating pain as their bodies became covered in blackened, pus-filled buboes. The medieval population, lacking any scientific understanding of disease, saw the plague as a punishment from God. Desperation and terror led to a breakdown of social order. The speed at which the plague spread was staggering. It moved from Italy to France, Spain, Portugal, and England within months, and by 1350 it had reached the northern and eastern reaches of Europe, including Scandinavia and Russia. No one was safe from its reach. Rich and poor, young and old, all succumbed to the merciless plague. Medieval cities, with their cramped and unsanitary living conditions, were particularly vulnerable. Streets filled with waste, poorly ventilated homes, and close living quarters created the perfect breeding ground for the plague. Infected fleas found easy hosts among the numerous rats that infested urban areas, and the disease spread like wildfire. The social and economic impact. The Black Death had a profound impact on medieval society, fundamentally altering the social and economic landscape of Europe. It is estimated that the plague killed between 75 and 200 million people, wiping out approximately one-third of Europe's population. Entire villages were decimated, fields went untended, and a severe labor shortage ensued. The sudden reduction in population led to an economic collapse, as there were not enough people to work the land or produce goods. The labor shortage had a silver lining for the surviving peasants and workers. With fewer people to work the land, wages rose, and the bargaining power of laborers increased. The feudal system, which had dominated medieval life, began to weaken. Many serfs demanded better working conditions and higher pay, and some even left their lord's lands to seek opportunities elsewhere. This shift laid the groundwork for the eventual rise of a more market-based economy and the decline of feudalism. The Black Death also had a significant impact on the church. As the plague ravaged communities, the church's inability to protect people or provide satisfactory explanations for the disaster led to a loss of faith among many. Priests and monks, who were not immune to the disease, died in large numbers, leaving a void in spiritual leadership. This period of crisis sowed the seeds of doubt and laid the foundation for future religious upheavals, including the Protestant Reformation, attempts at understanding and cure. Medieval people, lacking a scientific understanding of disease, turned to various methods to try to combat the plague. Some believed it was a punishment from God and sought to atone for their sins through prayer, fasting, and penance. Flagellants, groups of religious zealots, traveled from town to town, publicly whipping themselves in an attempt to appease God's wrath. Others looked for scapegoats, blaming marginalized groups such as Jews, foreigners, and beggars for spreading the disease. This led to violent persecutions and massacres, further adding to the period's brutality. In many towns, Jewish communities were falsely accused of poisoning wells and causing the plague, resulting in widespread pogroms. Doctors and healers of the time, with limited knowledge and resources, tried various remedies, most of which were ineffective. Common treatments included bloodletting, boil lancing, and the use of herbal concoctions. Some doctors wore long, beaked masks filled with aromatic herbs, believing the scents would protect them from the miasma, or bad air, thought to carry the disease. The psychological and cultural impact. The Black Death left a lasting psychological impact on the survivors. The constant presence of death and the sight of mass graves left the deep scars on the collective consciousness of medieval Europe. Art and literature from this period reflect a preoccupation with death and the afterlife, often depicting grim and macabre scenes. The danse macabre, or dance of death, became a common theme in medieval art, illustrating the universality of death and the futility of earthly pleasures. Skeletons leading the living to their graves served as a stark reminder that death spared no one, regardless of social status or wealth. Literature also bore the marks of the Black Death. Giovanni Boccaccio's The Decameron, written in the aftermath of the plague, tells the story of 10 young people who flee Florence to escape the disease, entertaining themselves with stories. The book provides a vivid portrayal of the social and psychological impacts of the plague, highlighting both the despair and the resilience of the human spirit. The long-term consequences. The long-term consequences of the Black Death were far-reaching and transformative. The massive population loss caused significant economic and social upheavals. With fewer people to work the land, agricultural production shifted from labor-intensive crops to livestock raising, which required less human labor. The labor shortage also led to innovations in technology and agriculture. The increased demand for labor-saving devices spurred the development of new tools and techniques, paving the way for the agricultural revolution and later the Industrial Revolution. The weakening of the feudal system and the rise in wages contributed to the growth of a more mobile and flexible workforce. This shift played a crucial role in the development of a capitalist economy and the emergence of the middle class. The changes in labor relations and the decline of serfdom were significant steps toward modern economic and social structures. Epidemics in the shadow of the Black Death. While the Black Death was the most devastating plague of the Middle Ages, it was not the last. Europe experienced recurrent outbreaks of plague in the following centuries, each bringing fear and death. The Great Plague of London in 1665 to 1666, which killed an estimated 100,000 people, was one of the last major outbreaks. The memory of the Black Death and its recurrent visitations continued to shape public health responses and medical practices for centuries. The establishment of quarantine measures, improvements in sanitation, and the eventual development of germ theory in the 19th century were all influenced by the lessons learned from the Black Death. Conclusion. The Black Death was a turning point in medieval history, reshaping Europe in profound ways. Its legacy is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable suffering. As we reflect on this dark chapter, we are reminded of the importance of scientific understanding and preparedness in combating future pandemics. Thank you for joining us on this historical journey today. If you enjoyed our video, please click the like button and subscribe to our channel. See you in our next video, where we'll continue to explore the mysteries and wonders of history. Goodbye, and thank you for watching.